What if I told you that some of the biggest decisions that CEOs and owners make about the cloud and cloud migration is based on myths? Myths that could be draining millions of dollars in revenue from their company. Not sure what the cloud really means for your business? Well, you're not alone. We're going to dive into 7 myths about the cloud and 1 bonus myth at the end. But first, let's get to know a little bit about the cloud. What is it and what isn't it? Let's take a step back to, say, 2000. I started my career in 2000. We had a server room. We built a brand new facility, and we had redundant internet connections coming in and going out. And it was a sealed room. Nothing could get out. It had its own air conditioning unit and its own ventilation system. Everything was self-contained. That was on-premises. That's what they call that. That was very common back in 2000 and the early 2000s. Remember the dot-com bubble? Maybe you don't, but I do. Now, fast forward to 2025, we have the cloud. So we have those same type of resources, but they're distributed all over the world. That's why it's called a cloud. It's really nebulous on what is going on. In a good way, we're abstracting the complexity for computing. Back to my early example, we had, I think, like 5 or 6 servers at the time, maybe even more. And there were those blade servers, and each server was monitored individually by someone in IT. They would monitor it, they'd make sure everything's good, they would set up backups, and they would have a disaster recovery system, but it was all done manually. If you need a patch, it needs to be applied by a human. Now today, all patches are applied automatically, hopefully, if you're doing it right. We don't want to manage that part of the business because it doesn't bring any value. We can outsource that and then leverage other people's expertise. So when you look at the cloud, you look at the services that are provided typically. Things like OneDrive or Gmail or Google Maps. All these things use the cloud. You can store files on the cloud, and it can be available on your mobile device, on your laptop, on any browser as you log in. The cloud is also redundant. It's got a lot of different data centers all across the world, so we can pick data centers that are closest to the users. If you need just US based, well, that's really simple. You can pick 1, maybe 2 data centers. But if you're a worldwide company, think of things like Instagram or something like that, they have servers all over the world that they're using. Netflix, they want to get the data as quickly as possible with low latency to the end users. So that's a brief overview of the cloud. If you want to dig into it deeper, book a call with me. I'd love to chat with you about it and how I can help. All right, what are some clear benefits of using the cloud? A lot of companies are still back in time using file share and a Z drive or something like that, right? They'll map a drive to a network path, and that's available for anyone in the company, but it's not available at home. When COVID hit, a lot of people were working from home. That was just normal for me. I've been doing it for who knows how long, 15 years, 20 years. And it really changed the way business was run. Businesses had to scramble because there were papers on people's desks that they didn't have access to. There were spreadsheets that were on specific computers that people didn't have access to. With that type of problem comes a cloud-based solution. So the benefits are, 1 is flexibility, ease of access anywhere. For example, a mobile device or a tablet, a laptop, a desktop computer, they can all access the same information. Some TVs can now even do that. Or you can cast it from your phone to your TV. A lot of pretty cool stuff that we utilize and don't even realize how phenomenal that is these days. Another benefit is scalability. We can have infinitely scalable infrastructure. All it takes to get another server running is a click of a button. We can get another instance of a container or a VM, whatever we're using. Any compute can be scaled in almost instantly. The third benefit is cost effectiveness. The cost effectiveness of the cloud is not what it used to be. It used to be a lot cheaper. Now cloud is on par with an on-premise implementation. Some people, once they get to a certain size, companies are moving back on premises. That takes a fairly large organization for that to pay off financially. Most businesses, if you're watching this, you're probably in this group, will benefit from the cloud more than they will from an on-premise implementation or a private cloud. Fourth benefit, automatic updates. We use a lot of containers in our systems that we develop for our clients, and those containers automatically update every time you push code to them. It's a great way to automatically keep things up to date. We don't have to worry. We don't have to manage it. It's just there. On systems that are not in active development, we just need to deployment every so often whenever a patch comes out, and we're done. It's really easy. And the last one is disaster recovery. If we are pushing code from a Git repo, I know I'm kind of getting into the weeds, bear with me. All we have to do is deploy that code to a new container and it's up and running. And then we have backups. We recommend full backups every week of a database and incremental every day. If anything happens, you lose no more than a day's worth of data, and sometimes you can even get that data back. All right, there are 3 types of cloud services. Let's go through each one of them. The 3 are software as a service, or the second one is infrastructure as a service, and the third one is platform as a service. A SaaS company, software as as a service is the most common. Think of any app that runs on your phone. It also has a server component. For instance, Uber, it has a server to navigate who's where and what they're doing and who's available for picking someone up for a ride. You have productivity tools like Microsoft 365, Gmail. There's also Zoom, Slack, MailChimp, everything like that. All these software services that are available on the cloud, all these AI agents that are running, those are typically run in the cloud. That is SaaS-based. Companies develop the software, they deploy it, make it publicly available. You use it for free or at a cost. Infrastructure as a service. You basically rent compute power on demand. I say compute power because it's no longer just a specific server, it's just compute. That's what we're after. We're after some processing power. We want to get stuff done. We can ramp up using IaaS or infrastructure as a service. Two examples of those are AWS and Microsoft Azure. There are others, just stick with those two. We've used some of the others, they're just not ready for prime time or they are quirky. The two main guys have got it nailed down. Okay, the third one is platform as a service or PaaS. The two main things that come to mind are AWS Elastic Beanstalk and the AWS App Service. Those are platforms upon which you can build services and applications to run your business. So here are the common myths. Number one, the cloud isn't secure. Security is built into the cloud by default. You have to go out of your way to turn off security. If you do it right, you can be just as secure, if not more secure, than an on-premise implementation because AWS and Azure have everything set up. All you have to do is implement what they've set up for you. There are other things that you need to consider, like compliance, whether it's HIPAA or SOX compliance. Things like that are very important. If that's something that you're needing to implement, a cloud-based solution, whether it's private or whatever, a cloud-based solution will help you with security and implementing things like compliance. Myth number two, I will lose my data. You won't lose your data any more than you would lose it if you were on premises. A cloud-based solution can have automatic backups. You can just set up a job. It's easy as doing that, your data. It's not the cloud provider's data, it's yours. As a result, you also are responsible for protecting it and encrypting things that need to be encrypted in case it gets compromised and providing good security around access to those resources. Number three, cloud migration is all or nothing. I've worked on several projects where we did a hybrid cloud. We had some on-premise features and some cloud-based features, and there's just a bridge that can talk between the two of those. It tunnels through a VPN, it's secure, and you can have some on cloud and some on-prem, and it doesn't know the difference. This is great for a hybrid approach. You can migrate one thing at a time to the cloud, or you can build new stuff in the cloud and slowly sunset the existing stuff that's on premises. Myth number four is just about cost savings. There are a lot more advantages than cost. Cost is just the tip of the iceberg. It is really the insignificant part of moving to the cloud. Think of Netflix. Could they run their service on-prem? They're big enough to be able to do that. Or think of if you were implementing a Netflix type feature, what would be easier? Developing 30 data centers across the world and then implementing that on your own, or using something like AWS or Azure for your video streaming service. I would go with a cloud to start and then go from there. It's going to save you headaches, it's going to save you time, it's going to save you money. You also got to remember that AWS and Azure, they are working on their services because that's their business. They have hundreds of people working on the software that runs AWS and Azure. So you get the benefit for all those people every month putting out new releases and new features. Cloud is only for tech companies. Well, I work with a nonprofit and they are moving to the cloud. They've been in the cloud for a while and they have a lot of business critical applications that run in the cloud. It helps them save time, save money, and it helps their business run smoother. Number six, cloud migration is too complex. It is complex, it can be complex, but it's only as complex as you make it. If you take a complex thing and break it down into chunks, then every little piece is digestible. Think of anything you've done that's been complicated. How did you do it? Did you just start doing it all at once? Think about riding in a century. 100 miles, you and your bike, you're gonna go do it. Do you just go out and ride the century the next day? Well, of course you don't. You could. That would make for a very long day and you would be sore the next day and probably for a month. And you may not even be able to do it. What do you do to prepare for a century? First, you get all the equipment. Then you start training. You work out a plan to ramp up so that you can ride 100 miles in a day. I've done lots of long distance rides, and once you're in shape, they are not that challenging. They are fun, and it's challenging to get to the next level. So think of cloud migration that way. First, you gather the tools. Let's see what we're going to do. Are we going to do AWS or Azure? Are we going to do one little piece or the whole thing? Are we going to take this piece and lift and shift, which means you take it from one place and put it in another? Or are you going to just build new pieces as you go along. There are a lot of different options, a lot of different ways to tackle this problem or this challenge. The main thing you need to remember is that you can't do it all in a day. So break it down into chunks. Make each piece simple. Another part of that, bring in experts. Hire someone like me or my company or someone else. Make sure you get the help that you need. Yes, you could figure it out on your own, but other people have already figured that out. Let them leverage them, let them help you and teach you and guide you along that path. All right, number 7, performance will suffer. Not really. I mean, it can, depending on how you implement things. With anything, performance is important, but at the same time, the cloud will not make it slower. Your architecture and infrastructure decisions will. There are some things that you can do, even if it's slow, you can make it seem like it's not as slow. The studies have been shown in usability that if you have a progress bar and it makes a lot of progress at the beginning and then a little slowly towards the end, that's better than it going a little bit and then going all at the end. It seems faster to people. You can do some things that are running in the background that will help the performance seem better. Now that's just masking the problem, but what's a real problem? Sometimes in the cloud-based world, we have servers that are in different containers, systems that are in different geographical regions, and they have to talk to each other. So if that's slow, you've got something set up a little bit incorrectly. So you can have just as much performance as a local system. It just will have to go across the internet, and so there is a little bit of lag time there, but connections are fast these days, and computing is fast. In a lot of instances, performance actually improves when migrating to the cloud. Okay, number 8, a bonus. Everyone loves a bonus. Once we're in the cloud, we're done. Well, sometimes that's just the beginning. Not to make it sound like it's horrible, but you'll see ways that you can improve things. You got your initial migration done to the cloud. Now you take a step back and look at how things are running. What's working, what's not? How can we improve on things? What new features do we need to add? How is everyone adopting the new cloud infrastructure? For end users, they may not even notice. There may be complaints if you change things. People never like change when it comes to that. Like, I know I always click here and then it works, but if you move it around, I'm not going to like it for a while. But after I get used to it, I'll be good. Cloud adoption is actually a journey. You're just starting on that journey when you do your initial migration. It involves organization, governance, and innovation. You can innovate once you have things established. You can think a new way about the same thing. Here are 4 tips on how to get started. First, you need to inventory your tools. What have you got already on what needs to be migrated? Sometimes you'll already have systems that are cloud-based, like your CRM or content management system. Number 2, pick a low-risk area. What would be the biggest win? What would be a quick win for you, and how can you get that done quickly? For instance, email. If you're using an email client on the computer, use a web-based email client and switch to a SaaS provider. Back in the day, everyone ran Exchange servers in-house. Now no one even does that anymore. They just use Office 365 or Microsoft 365 as now it's called. Number 3, involve your team. You need key stakeholders to help the migration go smoothly. You need them to get buy-in. You need their help and their expertise in their specific domain. Training will be important. New things always require training. And number 4, set some basic cost controls and check-ins. So evaluate it every quarter, see how things are going. At first, you'll probably want to evaluate every month. Cloud can save headaches, it can save energy and time, and it can help things run smoothly. Don't be afraid of migrating to the cloud. Don't be afraid of building things in the cloud. It's a great way to leverage other people's expertise. If you need help with that, feel free to book a call with me in the link below. I'd love to help out. As always, feel free to subscribe, like the video, share it. Let me know what I can do to improve my videos. What's another topic you'd like to learn about? And I'll see you next time.